Hello! Welcome to Vicky Makes and Builds. I'm back today with the part 2 Q&A video that I promised you back in part 1, which was a few weeks ago. I got loads of questions from people, which I really appreciate. I'm so pleased that you know, people want to know more about me and about the puzzle channel and everything. So what I thought I'd do was just sit and give you the part 2 video today, and I really do hope that you enjoy. But just starting off with the puzzle questions. The first one is from Amber Raymond. And Amber asks, is there a puzzle you have done and didn't like it at all? Right, so I touched on this a little bit in my first Q&A. It was a differently kind of worded question. It was more about brands, but I did mention this puzzle. It was actually quite hard to answer this because I have enjoyed all the puzzles I've done in one way or another. Like literally all of them. I can't think of one that I've absolutely loathed and despised the entire way through, or any that I've given up on either. So it was hard to answer, but I will say that when I was younger, I did an Impossible puzzle, and it was, the image was of dice. It was just dice across the board. Now, there were some other colours of dice scattered among them, which made it slightly easier in that respect, but all the white and black dice were, quite frankly, hellish. And I was actually quite young when I did that. I didn't do it on my own, in fairness. I did that with my stepdad and, you know, other people in my family that kind of chipped in and out of it and stuff like that. But it was before I just did puzzles. I just did them the way I did them, and I didn't sort of have any of the kind of, I don't know, skill, if that's the right word, that I do now. I didn't have any of the technique knowledge, you know. It never would have occurred to me at that age to shape sort, for example, and probably that would have made the whole process easier if I had. So basically the whole process of doing that puzzle was picking up a piece and staring at the box and finding it, and it was just so laborious and it took so long. And I mentioned last time that Impossible Puzzle isn't a brand that I particularly love. I didn't think the quality was the most amazing, and really the same goes for that dice one that I did when I was younger. So if I'm going to say any that I didn't like at all, I would say the dice Impossible Puzzle. I forget what the actual name of the puzzle is, but it's the one with all the dice on. I'll pop a picture up and you'll be able to see. Right, the next question I got was, how much time does it take to edit all of the videos? That's really hard to answer because I've never actually sort of been aware of how long it's taken me. I just know that it takes quite a while. Like, so basically, a lot depends on the video that I'm doing. So a video like this, for example, won't take a great deal of editing. I'm just sitting in one position and, you know, it's gonna be pretty much one long solid bit of film where if I need to adjust lighting or exposure or anything like that, it's just quick and I don't have to do it for millions of little clips. So, you know, this kind of video is much easier and it won't take long at all. I could probably do it in a day. The puzzle videos are a mixture of different types of footage. So you've got some time lapse and you've got some close-ups that I do on my phone, and you have you know, this kind of thing where I'm talking to the camera doing the intros and things like that. So I've got a lot to kind of juggle, a lot to move across. There's a lot of kind of adjusting I have to do with each individual clip, you know, in case it's too dark or something like that. Or if I maybe want to make it slightly slower or slightly faster, something like that. So it depends on the amount of work that needs doing on the puzzle, but also how complex the puzzle is and how big the puzzle is. Because, like, for example, this wildlife puzzle in front of me, this is almost 7,000 pieces here, so there's going to be more footage to deal with. It takes hours and hours, like, it really does. Like, maybe a 1,000-piece puzzle, I could build the puzzle and edit it probably in a week. Given the time, I could do that. It would be a few hours editing, but I could do it. Big puzzles like this, at least 2 weeks, but more like 3 or 4, because sometimes I intersperse the editing with the puzzling, so I'll edit as I go along. So it's really, I'm sorry, this is quite a vague answer, but it's a hard question to answer because I don't just sit and do all the editing in one go usually. I normally do it in dribs and drabs, and so yeah, it takes hours and hours, but some are longer, some it takes longer than others, and it depends a lot on how complex the puzzle is and how complex the video itself is. I can't be any more specific than that, I'm afraid, at this point. I hope that's okay. That question was from, I don't know how you pronounce it, Kurja Palo. So thank you for asking me that. Okay, so my next question is from Erin Hamerla. Do you keep all your puzzles or do you give some away? I have given some away to charity shops. I've sold some. I don't sell or give away many. A lot of the ones I do, I love a lot, and so I keep them. And a lot of the ones I do are giant, so I tape those and keep those as well. There is one I will give away. I will probably give this one away, the 2,000 piece Universal puzzle. I really enjoyed doing that, and it is one I would do again, but with me having the channel, that's not something I really have a lot of time to do, and I'm quite happy in the knowledge of passing it on to somebody else who would love it just as much. Aside from that, no, I mostly keep them. I've kept a lot, like the vast majority of the puzzles I've kept. So yeah. Right, next question from Ashley Power McLean. When you are doing puzzles, do you watch TV, listen to music or audiobooks, or enjoy the silence? I actually do all of the above. So I don't very often watch TV. If I'm just doing it for like pleasure and not filming it, I will set up a board in the lounge and I'll put the TV on and I'll sit and do the puzzle and just enjoy the puzzle with some TV in the background. But it tends to have to be something I've seen before. If I'm doing a puzzle, I have to concentrate on the puzzle, and if what's on the TV is something I haven't seen before, then I also have to concentrate on that. So it kind of divides my attention a little too much. So if it's something I've seen before, like for example, I really enjoy the TV series Charmed, the original TV series about the witches, and I've seen that many times. So actually the most recent TV I've watched whilst I've been puzzling is Charmed. Just chuck on a series and they just play and I just puzzle, and it's really good, really relaxing. But because I've seen it so many times, I don't have to keep looking up to see what's going on. I can just focus on the puzzle and I can just listen to it. And I do enjoy that, but I don't have a TV in my puzzle room, so that's quite rare that happens now. It would only happen if I was just doing it for fun, without filming the puzzle. Listen to music, yes, I do listen to music a lot when I puzzle, even in here when I'm doing it for videos, because the time-lapse footage doesn't have sound, so I can put music on and sing along to it and be puzzling, and there's no sound, so it's not an issue. Same when I'm doing the little close-ups and things like that. There is sound on those, but I can just take the sound out, so you don't have to hear my awful singing. And occasionally I will listen to an audiobook as well. I've not done an audiobook in a while. I think the last audiobook I read was one of the Wheel of Time books by Robert Jordan. I'm a fan of fantasy books, fantasy novels, but that was quite a while ago. So, but yeah, no, that's another thing I enjoy doing, just listening to something while I'm puzzling. And sometimes I also enjoy the silence. So I do all of it, but mostly I would say, out of all of those, mostly I would say I listen to music. Ashley Power McLean had another question. If you could only do landscape portraits, illustrations, or photo mosaic puzzles for the rest of your life, which one would you pick? Illustrations. I'd pick illustrations. First of all, I've never actually done a photo mosaic puzzle, but I have seen them and I've seen other people do them, and I gather they're quite difficult. And as much as I enjoy a challenge, I think to do it for the rest of my life would probably do my head in quite quickly. So I'll rule out photo mosaics. Portraits, not overly fussy about image-wise, and the same with landscapes. I've done a few landscape puzzles or kind of cityscapes, and I have enjoyed them, but I don't think I could do them for the rest of my life. They're not my favourite. Whereas illustrations kind of covers a multitude. You know, covers cartoonish style puzzles and artwork, you know, like on this wildlife puzzle, paintings, all that kind of stuff. More modern type stuff, like what you found on the Cloudberries puzzles and things like that. So illustrations covers quite a lot. So I would say, yeah, I'd say illustrations, definitely. Right, next question. Casey M. When and how did you decide to have a puzzle YouTube channel? Right, so last year in 2021, almost forgot what year it was there, my children, Jasper and Freya, who you might have seen on some of the videos I've done on here, they had been begging and begging and begging and begging for their own YouTube channel. So I helped them set up their YouTube channel. I had to kind of figure it all out and stuff. I had a YouTube account, but I just used it to watch videos. So, you know, creating a channel and stuff was quite new to me. We sat and we edited a channel trailer for them, and I actually really enjoyed it, just that little bit of video editing I did. And I wasn't working at the time, and I was really kind of looking for something I could do as well. So I thought, I might have a go at this. I quite fancy the idea of having my own YouTube channel, but I had no clue what it was going to be about. So I thought, well, what do I enjoy doing? Things like that. And I'm quite a arty, crafty, creative sort of a person. I enjoy doing loads of little hobbies and stuff. And so I thought, well, I enjoyed puzzles and Lego and building things and making things. So that's why my channel got the name Vicky Makes and Builds, because this channel started out as just me making and building stuff, all sorts of stuff. So initially I had some Lego videos on here. I had some videos with the hammer beads where I made some Minecraft hammer bead art. I enjoy doing cross stitch. So I was going to put some videos of you know, cross stitch up and all that kind of stuff. So it actually started out as a general kind of making and building channel. But then I put a couple of videos up of, I think the first one I did was a Wozgidge, the first puzzle I did on the channel. And that turned out to be the thing that was the most popular. And I do love puzzles. I really do. And I was perfectly happy with doing puzzles on the channel and only puzzles. I thought I might keep a bit of the Lego in there, but that really has kind of fallen by the way a bit as well. I'll just keep Lego probably for just personal enjoyment. But yeah, essentially that's how it became a puzzle channel, but it was kind of an unplanned thing. I just felt inspired by the children and the process of helping them set their channel up. I really just enjoyed that, and I thought it was really good fun, and I just wanted to do it myself. So it sort of evolved into something I hadn't expected, but I love it. I absolutely love it. It's been one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done. So that's how it all began, and it was last year, closer to July or something like that. KCM asked another question. Oh, two other questions. First one, do you have any favourite styles or types of puzzles? A really obvious answer to this is that I love giant puzzles. I absolutely love them. There's just something about a giant puzzle that's addictive, I think. They just, you finish one and it's like, what's the next one? I could do them one after the other after the other. I enjoy smaller puzzles, I do. I like to just be able to throw one together and stuff. I do like that. But giant puzzles really are, I just love them. They're like my first kind of love. I enjoy puzzles with a kind of a challenge element to them. So for example, the Impossibles, or other kind of impossible style puzzles. I really enjoy those. Find them frustrating, but also just really enjoyable in that they just challenge me a bit. You know, I think that that's really good. One of the puzzles, or one of the range of puzzles that I've enjoyed a lot, like more than I thought I would, is the crypts, the Ravensburger crypt puzzles. So yeah, you know, that kind of thing where there's just this added challenge. I really do enjoy that in a puzzle. I'm not really sure what else. I enjoy gradient puzzles. I love the bright colours. Really like vibrant puzzles. But yeah, I can't I can't really think of anything else. So KCM also asked, do you ever use them as wall art? Yes, I do. And again, I touched on this in the first Q&A. I have 2 on the wall in the house so far. I've got the Meow Hay puzzle in the hallway, and I've got the Tanya Wicks Citrus Burst puzzle in the kitchen. And I will use others as wall art as well. I'm considering putting the crypts up once I've done those. And I am definitely at some stage going to put up my Disney Orchestra, the giant one. I want to put that in the hall. I think there's enough space for it on one of the walls in the hallway. And I want to display wildlife as well once it's finished. But I don't have a single wall long enough for that, like wide enough. So it would have to go around a corner, and I'd need to figure out some way to get it up there. I do have a friend who's quite handy with things like this, and I'm sure he'd be able to help me. But yeah, I have some as wall art already, and I plan to put more up as wall art. I really would like a puzzle on the wall in here, in the puzzle room. I think that would be quite appropriate. Maybe one on that little corner section of the room and one there. I don't know. I figured maybe the crypts, I'm not sure. But yes, I do use them as wall art. Right, next question. Amy Harris. I really loved watching your videos on building the giant puzzles. Thank you very much. Have you considered doing the Ravensburger 40,000 piece Disney puzzle? This is my dream puzzle. I'd love to see you give it a go. Yes, I have. I really like that puzzle. And I understand why it is a lot of people's dream puzzle. Well, for a start, it's a Disney puzzle. I mean, I love Disney puzzles. So many people love Disney puzzles. Hard not to like Disney. I don't know anybody that doesn't. And I love giant puzzles as well. So, you know, that's kind of a no-brainer aspect to it. It is very big. I mean, it's even bigger than my 33K puzzle. The only thing that it doesn't make me hesitate. I would do it in a heartbeat. You know, if I managed to get a really good deal on that puzzle, I would get it and I would do it at some point in the future, and I would really love it. I'm sure I would. But I do prefer a giant puzzle that is a continuous image, if possible. That one is lots of images of the different Disney movies, and it is gorgeous, and all the individual images are great. They really are really lovely. But that's probably the only reason that it's not my dream puzzle. My dream puzzle is a Star Wars puzzle, and I'm a massive Star Wars fan. Technically that's Disney as well now, I guess, but there are other ones that I do love and I would like to do first. But yes, in a heartbeat, I would do this puzzle. Definitely, I would do it. Lolly A is the next person that asked a question. What do you do with your completed puzzles? Do you take them apart right away? Do you put them back in the box by stacking completed sections of the puzzle on top of each other? I know that you have previously taped some of your larger puzzles. Do you ever glue or tape together regular sized puzzles? So again, I've partially answered this in the previous video and a little bit in this video. So what do I do with my completed puzzles? It varies. So as I said, 2 of them are on the wall. So some of them I will display, and 2 of my larger puzzles I would like to put on the wall as well. So, you know, that's where they're taped together and just kind of waiting for me to do that. I've never glued a puzzle yet. I'm sure I will at some point, but, you know, in terms of keeping together regular sized puzzles, it depends. So if I'm not going to do it again anytime soon, or if I'm planning on just giving it away or donating it to a charity shop or selling it or something, I'll just take it apart and I'll put it back in the box. If it's a puzzle that I think I might need again for perhaps a future video, for example, the small Disney Orchestra puzzle, I taped that. In fact, I think that's the only small puzzle I've taped so far, because I can just see myself needing to pull it out again for perhaps a future video that I do on giant puzzles versus small puzzles, or on the Disney Orchestra specifically, or Disney puzzles or something. I don't know. I don't know necessarily what it would be for, but I will tape a smaller puzzle for that reason. if I need it to pull it out again to take some pictures or use it for another video. I would also tape them to display. If I had a frame I wanted the puzzle to go in and it really needed that extra support, then I would tape a smaller puzzle, but I've only done that with one so far. Do you put them back in the box by stacking completed sections? Yes, sometimes I do that as well. That's another scenario where I don't want to tape it, but I might still need to use it again in the near future, and I'd rather not have to put the entire thing back together again in order to do that. So then I will just leave some sections together and stack them. So yeah, I kind of do all of what you've suggested, but it depends on what I'm gonna do with the puzzle, really. This next question is from Melly Mellow. So I watched your Cloudberries gradient puzzle video today and I found it so cute that you share this hobby with your children. Maybe you can tell us more about them in your Q&A video. How often you're puzzling and they're puzzling and you're puzzling together? Do they want to do giant puzzles like you one day? Do you find puzzling is a good way of bonding with your family, or do you see it more as a hobby to practice on your own? A relaxing break in your family duties/activities. Right, okay, so this is about the children really and our kind of puzzling experience together. So when we have done puzzles together, we've really enjoyed it. In particular, the gaming puzzles we did, where it was all three of us. That really was a fun video to do, and all three of us really enjoyed it. And we each enjoyed the puzzles themselves as well. Puzzling isn't really a hobby for the children. It's not. They wouldn't sit down with a puzzle and just do it themselves. They would do it with me if they liked the image of the puzzle enough. So for example, when I first got the Cloudberries gradient puzzle that I did with Jasper, he straight away, as soon as he saw it, he said, I want to do that puzzle with you. There was just something about the image that he just loved, and he really wanted to do it with me. He did enjoy that, doing that with me, but they only really do puzzles when they're doing them with me, and only if they really like the image enough to do it. I very much doubt they'll be doing giant puzzles on their own. But I do have the 5K Pokemon puzzle earmarked to do with them. That will be the first giant puzzle that they will tackle or attempt. And I think they're both a bit nervous, but I actually think this puzzle is going to be really good for that. It's got very definitive sections that are different colours, and I think it'll be a good puzzle for us to sit around the table and work on different bits of it at the same time, and I think we won't get in each other's way, and I think that's going to be a really good puzzle to do. And again, the subject matter, Pokemon, stuff like that, I think that they're going to really enjoy the image. And if we're doing it as a family, then it is a bonding experience. Yeah, we really do, because we can talk and we can just enjoy the whole process together. So yes, they will do them, and yes, they enjoy them, but it really is a family thing. They also enjoyed being in the videos as well. The element of filming it and being in the intros and stuff like that, something else that they quite enjoy about the whole thing. So that's really them. I do see it as more of a hobby to practice on my own. Well, I say on my own. I do it on my own, and I enjoy doing it on my own. But if I lived with a person who just loved puzzles as much as I do, it is a hobby I would love to share, if that makes sense. So like it's just me and the children. So I'm here and the children will do puzzles with me sometimes, but for the most part I'm doing them by myself, and I'm perfectly content and happy to do that. It is a hobby that I do on my own day to day, and I love it. And I enjoy the quiet time, and I enjoy the kind of the therapeutic aspect of it. It really does make me feel a lot better and more relaxed when I'm puzzling. But that's not to say that I can only puzzle by myself and nobody else is allowed to touch one of my puzzles. I'm not that kind of a person at all. If I lived with somebody who enjoyed puzzles as much as I do, I would really, really enjoy sitting with somebody and sharing that puzzle experience together. I just think that that would be the most amazing thing. So yeah, you know, it's not a hobby for myself per se, it just is at the moment. And I enjoy both. I'm hoping that makes sense. Right, so that's that one. Next question is from Ruth. What time of day do you prefer when building puzzles? I myself like early evening when my mind is clear I get into a flow state easier. Yeah, I can totally see what you mean by that. I don't have a specific time of day I prefer. It's more a situation I prefer. So whatever time of day it happens to be, I prefer to do it when I'm not going to get interrupted. So for me at the moment, that's during the day when the children are at school and I'm not working doing the lollipop lady job. It's quiet, I can do my filming, there's no noise around me, I can build the puzzle, I can get a good long stint at it, I can, you know, stop for a break when I want to, I'm not called away for anything, you know, when there's no interruption really. And for me at the moment, that is during the day. That could change. So like when I lived in one of my old flats, I used to really enjoy, when my kids were younger, I used to really enjoy getting up early and doing it, like super early in the morning. And we're talking, it took me a while to get used to because I'm not generally a morning person, but once I'd got used to it, I really liked that time in the day when nobody else was up and it was just me and it was just so quiet. Everybody else was in bed and I could sit and I could just do the puzzle and it was really relaxing. But again, it's that scenario where I'm not being interrupted and I can just get on with it. And that at the time just happened to be first thing in the morning. That was the time I had to do that and actually get that kind of situation in place. So yeah, it's not a specific time of the day, but definitely a time when I can just get, like you say, get into a flow state with it. So whatever time of the day that happens to be. So the next question is from Caroline Turlington. Do you jigsaw puzzle every day? No, but I do most days. If I could, I would jigsaw puzzle every day. I would, but having the children and having my wee job and, you know, doing the other things I need to do, it's just not really possible for me to do it every single day. But I do it as often as is possible. Sometimes I'll go a full week and I'll be doing it every single day. Sometimes I'll go a full week and not do any. Mostly the times when I do it the least are during the kids' school holidays. So not every day, but as often as I possibly can. Right, the next question is from Bobby Joe, and Bobby Joe asks, any advice on cats and puzzling? I cannot close a door to my puzzling area and my fur family love to lay on my puzzle, often undoing some of my hard work. So I can give you some advice. My cat is generally quite good, although he will jump up and he will do annoying little things, which, you know, if you've seen my other videos, you may have you may have noticed. So I am familiar with the cat conundrum in terms of puzzles. I now have a puzzle room that I use to do puzzles, so I can close the door, which is handy. You've said you can't close the door. I didn't used to be able to keep the cat locked out when I did puzzles in my old place where I lived. And back then I had to do something slightly different to protect the puzzle. So what I do when I'm not actually working on the puzzle, I will cover it up with big flat pieces of foam board. If it's a giant puzzle, I'll have it on layers of foam board and I'll stack them on top of each other with a blank one on the top, and then I'll put something heavy on the top of that. So the puzzle is completely covered, and because foam board's quite light, it's easily shifted, so that's why you put something heavy on the top. So that would be my best advice. Find something big and flat, like a board or a piece of foam board or something like that, that you can put on the top of your puzzle. If it's like a large puzzle, you can stack them up, and then always put something heavy on the top, heavy books or like a dumbbell or something. If you're into weights or anything like that, just something heavy that you can put on the top, that just stops the cat being able to nudge it off or whatever. In terms of protecting your puzzle whilst you're actually working on it, because sometimes, you know, well, certainly Grace, my cat will jump up whilst I'm doing the puzzle and just plonk himself in front of me. My best advice would be to try and give them something to lie on so they can be near you without having to be like on your table, if you see what I mean. So when I was in my previous place that I lived, that was all open and I couldn't lock away my puzzles whilst I was building it. What I used to have was a cardboard box that Grace used to really enjoy lying on, and it used to be off the camera, off to the left-hand side. I think I actually panned over once to show you Grace in one of my older videos, just lying there. And that was brilliant because Grace used to love lying on that, and I would always be able to, if he came to me and was fussing, I would always be able to just put him on that box, which was just always there. I would stroke him and he would settle, and then he would just stay there and sleep, and I could work on my puzzles. With some cats, it's maybe like a wee kind of high up bed, or like a cat scratch pose with a high up sort of cubby or bed or something on the top. So that is my best advice with regard to the cats. Have something they can lie on and be comfortable so they can enjoy your company, but also, you know, not destroy your puzzle or whatever it is that you're doing. It's probably useful if they're maybe more of a height with you so they can see you and you can fuss them if you need to. Maybe other people who have cats have other tips that they can give. I've only got one cat, so that makes it a little bit easier. But I do know, you know, there are avid puzzlers out there with more than one cat who maybe have their own kind of hints and tips and tricks that they use to protect the puzzles from the cat. So yeah, feel free to leave a comment on that and help out Bobby Joe, who was asking about that. Right, so the next question is from Jessie. Do you have any family members that are also into puzzles? Yes. Not massively, but yes, they do enjoy a puzzle. So I've mentioned a few times that I would do puzzles as a child with my family, and my granddad used to enjoy them. And my stepdad will sit and do a puzzle. My mum can sit and enjoy a puzzle, but they don't really do it sort of overly regularly. Just now and again they'll sit and enjoy doing a puzzle. My sister, who I gave the Disney Museum puzzle to, she enjoys puzzles, but only Disney ones. Yes, they are into puzzles, but not in a big way, and certainly not in quite as much as I'm into them. But yeah, they do like puzzles. Right, next question. Shirl's Puzzles. Hi Vicky, love your puzzle chat and puzzles, obviously. What is your ultimate dream regard puzzling? Okay, well, so I have dream puzzles, which I've mentioned. Galactic time travel. The 18K galactic time travel is a dream puzzle I would like to do. Same with the 13,200 piece Lahaina Vision by Clementoni. So that's kind of a dream to be able to do those. With regard puzzling as a whole, I'd say my ultimate dream would be to be able to do it and live off it. That would be really brilliant. I have earned a little bit of money from puzzling, and my YouTube channel helps a little with that, but I would really love it if this is something I could do full time. Another dream I've got with regard to puzzling is I'd love to try one of the speed puzzling championships. I'd love to just give that a try. I think that would be really good fun, and just see how I do and enjoy the experience, and, you know, travel to Spain or somewhere like that and give that a go. I think that would be really good fun. Another thing I would love to do in regard to puzzling is visit the Jigsaw Puzzle International Convention in Vegas. I would really, really, really love to go to that one year, if I can, when I can. But yeah, I suppose the big dream is to just be able to do it full time and not have to have a job, because it earns me the puzzling earns me money. I suppose a lot of puzzlers would love that, you know, it's it would be ideal really, wouldn't it? But yeah, that would be great. So thank you, Shills Puzzles. There's a question that's puzzle related from C. Mar, and their question is, do I know a safe way to clean a puzzle? So a CMAR said that they bought one and it had an oily film on it for some unknown reason, but they didn't they managed to rub most of it off with the tissue, but wondered if there was a cleaning product that would remove it completely without harming the cardboard. Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to that. I did look it up when I got your question, and I couldn't really find much beyond what you've already done, rubbing it off. Obviously, you've got to be careful with any kind of liquid product because it's card. So what I'll say in response to this question is that I'll put it out there, basically, to the viewers. Have any of you had a similar scenario where a puzzle's got like an oily film on it, or has been sort of mucky or dirty for some reason, and have you figured out ways to clean it? Have you come across kind of any sort of product that you can use to clean puzzles? I'll put it out to you, the viewers, because I've not come across anything, so I can't answer that, unfortunately. But if anybody else can, please do leave a comment. So yeah, so that was the last puzzle related question. So now my questions, there are two that are non-puzzle related. So the first one is from Donna. Which do I prefer, beach, mountain, or city? If I had to pick one of those three, I would say beach. Beach. I like a city for shopping, you know, and culture, I suppose, and having lots of things to do. But I do prefer quieter sort of areas to live in personally. I grew up in a big city, or at least by UK standards it's big. Grew up in Nottingham, and I found as I got older that I just didn't really like the crowds and the pollution and stuff that come with a big city. As I say, like to visit one now and again up here. I'm not too far from Glasgow, so I can hop there if I really need to do something or go somewhere or get something, but that's enough for me really, is in terms of the need to kind of be near a city. Mountains I love looking at mountains. They're really beautiful, and we have a lot of hills and mountains up here in Scotland, and I love the views from the top of them, but you have to get up there first. I'm not the best person at climbing hills or mountains. I can do it and I can enjoy it, and I do love it when you get to the top and you can look at the views and everything like that, but but I've not got the most stamina, in fairness. So I would say beach. I love walking along beaches. Beaches are beautiful. I like sandy beaches in preference to like pebbly ones, and I like warm beaches. So I visited the Caribbean once. I went on a cruise, and some of the beaches there were just gorgeous, and I loved that, and I could just sit on one all day and sunbathe. So, and you know, just walk in with your feet in the water, and I'd say beach. I think beaches are lovely, really, really lovely. So yeah, of those three, I would say beach. And my second non-puzzle related question was from Piece by Piece Puzzler, and he asks, what are your favourite things to do other than puzzling in the place where you live? Okay, so I live in Stirling in Scotland, which is Central Belt, and it's a really pretty place. It's very, quite a historical town, so there's a lot of sort of old kind of touristy type buildings. We've got the Stirling Castle, we've got lots of old kind of ruins and stuff around here. There's a lot of history attached to it. So the kids and I, we do enjoy walking around Stirling, and we enjoy going just a bit further afield and going on walks up, you know, in the hills and in the national parks. We are in a very beautiful place here, so we do enjoy that, going out for walks and things. Hobbies wise, I personally recently, I enjoy roller skating. I've sort of come back to that. I used to do roller skating as a child, and I've sort of come back to that more recently because I helped Freya learn to roller skate, my daughter, and so we do roller skate together fairly often. So that's kind of a hobby I've revisited. And a very recent hobby, which all three of us, Jasper, Freya and I, have taken up, is ice skating. We all really love going ice skating, so we've just been doing it a few weeks, but we've got an ice rink here locally, and we go there pretty regularly and do ice skating. we enjoy going to the cinema. I do like movies, and but by far my biggest pastime is ballroom and Latin dancing. So little known fact about me, I am a ballroom and Latin dancer. I've been doing it since I was very young, and I'm actually qualified to teach it as well. So I do go dancing fairly regularly. Sometimes I don't always teach. I don't always have periods when I'm teaching it, but I will try and stay dancing as much as I possibly can. I just love it. I love it. I particularly enjoy the Latin dancing and just the music and moving to the music and stuff. It's just brilliant, and it's a sociable pastime as well. So it's kind of like a therapy for me, like puzzles is really. Like, it's just something I can go and lose myself in, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, probably the biggest out of all of the things I've mentioned. Favourite thing to do in the place I live is ballroom and Latin dancing. And that brings me to the end of the Q&A video. So thank you so much for sending me all your questions. I think I've got through them all. If somehow I've missed any, then please do mention it in the comments. I really hope you've enjoyed watching it and learning more about me and my puzzles. So that just leaves me to say thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you've enjoyed the video, please do leave a like and consider subscribing as well. Happy puzzling, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!